A 12-day war. This is how President Donald Trump called the first direct high-intensity conflict between Israel and Iran, the two regional powers, marking a significant escalation beyond proxy warfare. But how did it all start? And how did the direct American military intervention lead to a ceasefire and a possible return to the negotiating table? On the 13th of June, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a surprise multi-axis air campaign deep into Iran. An attack Israel described as preemptive, but Iran called it unprovoked. On that first day, Israel deployed nearly 200 aircrafts, targeting over 100 sites, including nuclear facilities, military bases, air defense batteries, and the Islamic Republic's Revolutionary Guards. Also, IRGC residences, high-ranking commanders, and nuclear scientists were targeted. Israel also employed secret agents and spy units it had implanted inside Iranian territory to neutralize threats and blind or even destroy Iran air defense systems. Civilians on both countries or on both sides faced displacement and casualties. The operation also included cyber attacks. After 18 hours exactly, Iran retaliated, launching Operation True Promise 3 with a massive, unprecedented, coordinated missile and drone attack. Iran reportedly launched more than 150 missiles, mostly solid fuels, the Sijil, Fateh, and Shahab and Hypersonic missiles. Many of those missiles were medium-range, launched from deep inside western and central Iran. Over 100 suicide drones were also used in the strikes, and the attacks, as you can see, targeted Tel Aviv, Ramat Gan, and the Bir Sheva hospital. The exchange of attacks continued between Iran and Israel for 5 days, during which Israel focused on crippling Iran's military-industrial core, particularly its nuclear and missile capability. Iran, meanwhile, emphasized on mostly psychological and symbolic retaliation targeting cities, hospitals, and military infrastructure. Israel seemed to maintain air superiority, while Iran responded with broad missile reach across Israeli territory. By day 6, things started to take a different turn. In addition to an escalation of the cyber warfare, hypersonic missiles started flying over the capital cities. On the 18th of June, when Iran launched the Fateh-1 hypersonic missile on Israel, it marked the first publicly acknowledged use of hypersonic missile by the Islamic Republic. This launch marked a major escalation in the war. Before seeing why this launch changed the course of the war, let's first have a look at the Fateh-1 hypersonic missile that was reportedly used. The missile can travel up to 13 to 15 times the speed of sound. It has mid-flight maneuverability features, also making it far more difficult to intercept than conventional ballistic or cruise missiles. Israel's Arrow 3 David Sling as well and the Iron Dome were designed primarily for ballistic or subsonic threats. The Fateh-1's unpredictable flight path also and velocity outpaced interceptors, forcing Israel to deploy multiple layers of defense per missile, straining the system. Also, it is believed to be one of the first times a hypersonic weapon had been used in an open Middle East conflict. The launch of such advanced weaponry created widespread panic as expected, Israel's public and media labeling it a red line breach and prompting calls for aggressive retaliation. Globally, the move attracted condemnation, especially from the US, the EU, and the IAEA, who also saw it as a nuclear-capable delivery system, even though conventional warheads were used in this particular strike. These Iranian missiles targeted Tel Aviv and its outskirts, namely Ptah Tikva, Bnei Barak, and Holon. The southern Negev region, as well as a military installation near Dimona and Haifa Bay area were impacted, killing 7 and injuring 42 due to collapsed buildings and sensory explosions. Now, Israel responded within 24 hours with airstrikes on Fatah 1 research and storage sites near Isfahan and Simnan. U.S. satellites detected 3 more hypersonic missiles loaded near Kerman, which Israeli jets promptly destroyed. Now, at this point, the war entered a new high-technology phase with cyber attacks and electromagnetic countermeasures used by both sides over the next 72 hours.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities.
On June 21st, the U.S. entered directly into the conflict after nearly a week of mixed signals. U.S. President Donald Trump initially hesitated to commit, then issued conflicting statements, including suggesting a 2-week deliberation period. It was reported that Iran's use of hypersonic missiles plus images of impact in Tel Aviv reportedly shifted White House calculations. A closed-door NSC meeting and pressure from GOP hawks and Israel resulted in Trump's limited but firm response. The U.S. launched Operation Midnight Hammer, a direct air and cyber strikes on Iranian military and nuclear infrastructure in the early hours of June 21st. Over 140 U.S. aircraft were used, including 7 B-2 Spirit stealth bombers, 4th and 5th generation fighter jets, refueling tankers, reconnaissance and electronic warfare planes, and a guided missile submarine which launched cruise missiles. The objective was to strike Iran's nuclear sites undetected. No shots were fired at the U.S. strike package on the way in. But, however, 7 B-2 bombers flew 7,000 miles under radio silence, supported by cyber and space forces, dropping 14 massive ordnance penetrators or bunker buster bombs. Decoys, jamming, and Tomahawk missiles, also from a submarine, aided the surprise attack, and Iran's defenses did not respond. Targets included Fordow and Isfahan, with 3 nuclear facilities hit in just 25 minutes. The sites were obliterated, while Israel and IAEA sources, Carl Vinson, were also deployed, and their defenses successfully intercepted almost all of them, with 1 missile reportedly making impact but causing no casualties or significant damage, according to reports. Iran is told to have provided advanced warning, ensuring the attack was calibrated and largely symbolic, according to experts. Also, at this stage, Iran's long-range missile stockpile had been severely depleted, and IRGC command hubs were under fire from Israeli drones, and Hezbollah and Shia militias faced also mounting Israeli and U.S. pressure on the northern front. This left Iran with fewer options for effective retaliation without incurring greater losses. The country needed to regroup and avoid a broader war with both Israel and the U.S. As for Israel, it had achieved most of its military goals, crippling Iran's nuclear program and degrading the IRGC. The U.S. said it wanted to prevent a regional conflict and protect its forces, and so the U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities broke Tehran's escalation calculus, made further conflict too costly, and gave all parties a clear exit ramp. It asserted American deterrence and ultimately forced a ceasefire through overwhelming strategic leverage. On June 24th, a ceasefire agreement was brokered through Qatar, and that was within 36 hours only of the American strikes. Iran halted missile attacks first, followed by Israel 12 hours later. Both sides claimed success, though Iran conceded its nuclear program suffered only short-term delays. Leaked initial intelligence report on the damage caused by the American strikes indicated that Iran's nuclear capabilities were set back merely months and not years. The 12-day war was a brief but explosive confrontation that redefined Middle Eastern deterrence, showcased next-generation warfare, and edged the region to the brink of a nuclear crisis before diplomacy pulled it back. Looking ahead, back-channel diplomacy mediated by Oman and Switzerland has reopened the door for renewed nuclear negotiations between US and Iran. What will come out as a result, we are yet to see. I'm Rawia Alami. Thanks for watching The Pixel, only on Arabiya English.